Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Junior Heisis, an angel investor, entrepreneur in the Gulf region, and I really like to inspire women to become also entrepreneurs and angel investors. And that's exactly why I'm recording this podcast today to share my story, my challenges, my first mistakes, how I lost money, where I get my education, and then who is my source of pure deal flow. And also, I really want to add a piece where I will explain how LinkedIn helps me to identify great opportunities. Let's go. Also, this story will be accompanied with Chinese tea ceremony. This is something that I appreciate a lot. So, months ago, but specifically July 8th, I had my last glass of wine and I replaced it to this Nitan, which is my Chinese tea ceremony. Yeah, and I really encourage a lot of people who also watch this podcast to do the same, because it's amazing ritual where you can connect to yourself and then listen to yourself, to write down some your ideas. It's better to do it without any iPhones, any distractions, just with your notebook where you can write down your ideas and thoughts. And that's how I do it. And I really need to say that my life changed completely after I decided to do this ritual for myself. So without further ado, let's go. First, I really wanted to make sure that this is not the video to encourage you to do silly mistakes that I did previously, investing blindly in companies without due diligence. I started with that. And also, it would be obviously better if you have special education. Let's say you are an accountant or you chief financial advisor and you have this education. But even if you don't have it, then it doesn't mean that you need to stop yourself from thinking that you actually can invest your money. You can actually think about financial empowerment and financial freedom. You can. Is that exactly like I did for myself. And so I need to share with you my background first. And the background is this. I was born and raised in a family where my mom and my dad were working as regular employees in a school. And my father was an accountant. My mom was a financial director in the school. And the only thing that I learned from them is that I have to save money. And if you think that it was a advice for saving money in the bank or through a specific program, not at all. And the only thing that they advised me is to save cash somewhere at home in the box. That's exactly how they did it. And I definitely and specifically want to emphasize that the only investment advice that I heard from them was never do any investments, because government will steal your money, you will lose it. I specifically remember several situations that they described how they invested in real estate and then invested in bonds and money disappeared. That was my background, and this is where I came from. At some point when I became an entrepreneur, and most of my clients were B2B companies, and also some of the companies had corporate venture capital funds, and also I got acquainted with several venture capital funds, very famous venture capital funds that invested first in Prisma and Masquerade, and both of these companies were sold to Facebook and Google for several $1 million. These people were actually my guides into venture capital industry, because at this point I understood that this is risky, but that's worth your time and energy. That's part number one. And part number two that I also learned from them is that whenever you are venture capital investor, you are always surrounded by founders who build this world. And you as an investor, you also build your space, your environment, and your community based on your vision, your ideas. And this is something that makes your life very happy. Even I don't know what is your definition of happiness and success, but for me, that was very obvious that if I invest in companies like them, then I will be always surrounded with people who are very passionate. And these are the people who actually are contributing to the ecosystem called planet. and making this world a better place. That was my first impression. And in 2017, I participated in the first educational program. It was a program that was led by one of the leading venture capital funds in Eastern Europe. And this fund actually contributes to Dow Jones Index. And I remember that I came there with the idea that I will build my $5 million venture capital fund. And it was a monthly program guided by a lot of professional venture capitalists. It was really very interesting to me and very educational. And I was surrounded with people who are actually great entrepreneurs themselves. So it was really very good time and definitely a good investment in terms of money and my time. The next, when I understood that I still want to build this journey, but I wasn't enough mature for that, was another educational platform that calls VC Lab by Founders Institute. Founders Institute is very well-known brand all over the world, but maybe you haven't heard of VC Lab. VC Lab is the program for first-time fund managers or emerging managers. Most of these people could be either investor relations previously or angel investors, or they could be part of existing venture capital firms, or they have education in finance, or people like me who doesn't have all this background. But so the only thing that I had is that this previous knowledge and opportunity, with the experience of working with venture capital investors. And also I had a great network on my LinkedIn. That's why I became a part of this VC Lab program by Founders Institute. And I started educating myself with a lot of other people. And like CEO and the founder of this program, Adele Gracie, is usually mentions that this is not educational program. This is a closing program. So I think that after 2 months, I understood that I actually underestimated the seriousness of this decision. And I dropped off from this platform. But at the same time, I found a person who was also a part of this program. And this person decided to actually build his venture capital firm, and I became a venture partner in his fund. What I also did is that I invested my first angel check to this fund. And it was, the first capital call was around $25,000. This is how I started. That was my first investment. I remember that when I invested this money, I announced it on my LinkedIn, and I specifically said that this fund is going to allocate 25% of the capital to women-led companies. And that's exactly why I decided to contribute to this venture capital fund, because I myself really like to support women founders. I know how hard is it for us to run our businesses in very male-dominant world. But also I know that a lot of women feel very supported by men. And I really wanted to be part of the community where we support women. And that's exactly why I wrote my first check to this fund. Long story short, two founders decided to separate right after I invested in a couple of weeks. And I lost my first money. At the same time, one woman from London reached out to me on LinkedIn and scheduled a call with me. And her message was so genuine that I understood that this is definitely something that I want to contribute. I really want to get acquainted with her. I really want to support her in her entrepreneurial journey. And that's why after my first call with her, I wrote a check to her. And this was my first direct investment. I want to zoom out right now and make sure that you understand properly the situation. That I wrote my first check because I was absolutely sure that the founders who I supported, they also had the same vision as me. They are a part of VC Lab by Founders Institute ecosystem. So I trusted the ecosystem to vet these deals. But I ignored my own due diligence on that. And that was my mistake. And this is exactly why I lost this money. But at the same time, everything that happens in your life, meant to be for a reason. And that's exactly why I think that this specific situation led me to another deal, which is investment in Naya, London-based HR tech company that is actually performing really very good. And that was my first direct investments. And I'm super grateful to a founder, Corley, who invited me to this journey, because for me, as a first time in angel investor, that was also very risky and scary. But, I definitely had this feeling that I'm doing the right thing. And I was thinking that even if I'll lose the money, I really want to contribute to her success and to her mission. And I never doubted this decision, and it was actually a very good decision. Next, what I want to talk about is my next investment. And I'm looking at Indian market right now. If you are thinking about Indian market in general, you do know that it's very big. And probably the two industries that you really want to start learning this market is fintech and healthcare. Because definitely if you invest in something B2C in fintech or B2B2C in healthcare, definitely 100%, this company has $1 billion potential, right? And this is exactly why I'm looking at the deal that calls Couple. If you ever traveled with your friends and if you ever used Splitwise, the application that allows all of you as a group to, write down some things that you purchased for the group, maybe when you were a student, then you would definitely enjoy the application that calls Couple, that has the banking account backing this Splitwise kind of application. So Couple is an application that allows couples, friends, and people who are dating each other to share costs, and they can actually send money to each other within this account, or they actually have this shared account for a group of people, for two people who are dating, married, or just friends. And right now I want to move to the next part of this video, which is the source of deal flow for myself. I can probably name several sources, and I would start with the source that I usually call connectors. I'm also MP in one American fund. It's RPV Global. And this is amazing fund because it invests in a lot of great deep tech companies in America that are very, very science-based. So it's even hard sometimes to explain what exactly this company is doing, because it is really so hardcore tech and science-based that it's not very easy to understand for every single regular person. But I really like this because first, I have PhD in biochemistry, and I really like to learn deeply the basics of every single science-based idea. And also the general partner of this fund, he provides deal flow for his LPs that you can, also join in and invest, not only just through the venture capital fund, but also some other deals that you can be a part of. And I would say that one of the deals that I'm also very happy and very proud to be part of is a company called Bias. This is a company that is helping people who lost their limb to not only be able to, let's say, hold your phone or a pen in your hand, but also to feel what you have in your hand. And this is a miracle. And I always think that it is such a pleasure to be an angel investor and to be in this journey, because you can actually contribute to building this kind of innovations that can significantly influence the lifestyle of people. And you can understand that you can be an impactful investor to some niches or some products that can dramatically, in a good way, change lifestyle of certain group of people. The last thing that I want to say is that except these connectors, I have several connectors who are providing you with a deal flow, and they're doing amazing due diligence on their own, and I trust their expertise. I have my outstanding network of LinkedIn connections. I have around 30,000 LinkedIn followers right now, and I build this community consciously. I also consciously contribute to grow this community, because every single week I'm creating a great content for this amazing community, and they benefit from my content. They share it, And this is exactly why I see that my community is growing. Just because the core of community is sharing my content that I propose to them. They like my content. And this is exactly how I find some of the new opportunities for my LinkedIn. I would say that everything that I have is due to my LinkedIn. Right now, I'm also investing in my YouTube. I hope that YouTube will also bring me the same results. And this is exactly why I ask you who listen to me today to first connect and subscribe to my channel so that you can catch my next videos. And if you like this video, you can share this video with your friends so that your friends also can learn from me, from my journey, and never make the same mistakes that I did when I lost my money, or maybe be inspired and understand that financial empowerment and financial freedom exists for anyone with education, without education. This is very easy. Actually, not very easy, but you can make it. And yeah, so that brought us to the end of our conversation. I'm going back to my tea, and welcome to be a part of my community. And I'm looking forward to meet with you next time and talk about things that can help you to close deals with venture capitalists, invest in tech startups, build your healthy habits, and live a mindful and conscious life.